I am JD. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me. And please hit like. It also helps my channel. And I do watch repair, plus I make comic shorts. Yes, and not the type you wear. So what do I have here? I have a very old pocket watch. Very old. Older than me, I think. And it's from a gentleman from California. I'll just give you a first name. It's from Scott. I love the front of this watch. This is a lever set pocket watch, so the first thing I'm going to do is see if the lever set mechanism actually works. You pull the lever out, and there you go, and it's not too bad. There's a little skip there. I can feel that. Maybe it's because the crown is a bit loose here. So I'll see if I can... Yeah, it's skipping a bit. Could be issues, gearing issues. And it's wound all the way up, so I'm not going to wind it anymore because it's wound tight. So I'm not really sure what's wrong with the mechanism. Also the lid closes, but it doesn't close really well, so there may be an adjustment needed for the lid. It closes like that, not too bad, but it's fairly tight. It's tight. So let's just open the back up and have a boo at it and see what we have here. I think I'm going to have to put my watchmaking glasses on any second now, because without them, I am a failure. That lid is stiff, so that needs some oiling. That's very stiff. It works, but it's stiff as heck. And then I'm going to just get a pink cloth, because today's pink cloth day, just so I don't leave a big thumb mark there. And you get the case opener just under the lip here, and that should snap open. And don't put any pressure on the lid in the back here with your thumbs or anything. Just kind of hold it loose, and there we go. You put pressure on it, and then you just slide in like that. And my long guitar fingernails here is going to help me a bit. All right, my favorite, a full plate. I need some sound effects at this point. Oh my goodness. A full plate watch. All right, that was going to be a sound effect there. The good news, I think, here is that the balance seems to be turning. That is very good news. So I can let the, once I take the movement out, I should be able to let the pressure down on the mainspring. So what is this thing? This is a Waltham. This is a very short video today. I'm not going to disassemble this right now. I may do it this afternoon. American Waltham Watch Company safety pinion. So what is a safety pinion? So the safety pinion is in the center wheel, and it's if the mainspring breaks and provides backwards pressure to the pinion will not. The pinion will unscrew from the shaft. It's really cool. So it unscrews from the shaft as opposed to putting ridiculous pressure, backwards pressure on the gear, which could in fact break a tooth or snap one of the gears. So that's the safety pinion. So some very keen watchmaker / engineer had nothing to do one day, and he said, I think I need to define and design a safety pinion. I don't even know what it is yet, but I'm going to give it a name. They call it a safety pinion. It's the best safety pinion around. So this is a 17 jewel watch. It is railroad grade. I looked this up before. It is railroad grade. And I believe, I'm going to look this up right now and tell you. Alrighty then. Here's what we have. We have a grade 825. I'm going to slide up in a second, but model 1883, I've worked on these before. Production year 1905. Quantity, that sounded a little like Letterman. 1905. Oh me, oh my. Grade run, so 322,000 of these things. Remember, they were making millions and millions of these watches a year because people had to know what time it was so they could get home for dinner on time, so they wouldn't get yelled at. Size 18S, so it's a beast. It's a bit of a beast for a watch that's a hunter with a lid. 17 jewel hunting lever set. Breguet adjusted, no. Railroad grade, no. So it says railroad grade, no. That surprised me, but maybe, I don't know. That's kind of weird. I thought it would be a railroad grade watch, but I guess it isn't. It's a beautiful movement, though. All 17 jewels are in the right place. So let me just scoot up here a bit and see what I got. That's pretty much it on this watch. That's it. So being a good boy, I'm going to use a paintbrush to move the balance. Look at that. I usually use my finger. So the balance is operating here. It's just not getting any power from the mainspring, but the mainspring is fully wound. So there's something very suspicious going on. And there may be a broken gear in there somewhere, or some pivot of some sort. Maybe it just hasn't moved or been cleaned and hasn't moved in so long that it's a problem. So it moves, it kind of just vibrates here. It's not really running. Oh, I got a little bit of power coming to it. Oh, so that's definitely power coming to the watch there with an amplitude of 20 degrees. That's not a very good amplitude. So if I were to keep exercising this watch, which I should, this will get it running, but it still is probably dirty as heck, and that's one of the reasons why it hasn't been running for many, many years. It may have not been cleaned for many, many years. Now, yeah, there we go. We got a little bit of action on this. I'm going to put this in one of my cases, one of these, and just let it run with the lid open. And just before I store it, just flip it over again. See if it runs sideways. Yes, it does. It's always a good test. And is it running upside down? Yes, it is. Sometimes it doesn't run as well upside down because you have a jewel problem or a pivot problem. I will examine each one of these jewels under my microscope just to make sure there are no cracks, because the crack in a jewel will wear out the pivot on the gear. So you don't want that to happen. The rest of it looks very clean, but obviously it was gummed up enough not to run. So, and if I look at the hands, see if they're moving. And yes, so the second hand is moving, which is nice. And as I said, it can set, but the crown is a bit loose here, so I might be able to do something about the loose crown. And it's the way it's put in. And because this is a lever set, what we have here is a little tiny screw right there, and that screw actually holds the crown in place. So I'll have to just look at the crown and stem and make sure it's good. But it doesn't really want to be pulled out because it's a lever set. So this screw just simply rides into a slot in the stem and keeps that stem in place. I'm chewing gum today, by the way, in case you didn't notice. So this is from Scott, and I'll just say Scott. I don't like to give names of people on my videos, but it's a beautiful. I love the hands. So a beautiful watch. I'm going to be super duper careful when I take this one apart, as I am normally. And I noticed there's a groove right here, and that's where the case opener goes in to remove the crystal. These are tricky. I have crystals for these, and we just flash something. I have crystals for these that are low dome crystals. They're hard to get, but I've got old stock of these crystals that I've got online once a long time ago. So I'm not too concerned, but be very careful. One thing that can happen is if you get your watch opener here, you don't want it to slip at all because it could scratch the movement. And so you want to get it in there nicely, again, firm, so your hands are nice and firm, not loose at all. And then you ride it in a bit and then twist it to crack it open. But if you twist it too much and it doesn't open, it can crack the crystal. Let me just do the old crystal test here. I think this is a glass crystal. Yeah. You can tell the difference between the glass and plastic crystals. They did have plastic crystals back then. They're good replacements, but this is a very nice glass crystal, so be very careful with this. So there we go. Let me close this up. Oh, and another thing here is that this is not grabbing enough on the back of the lid here. I do have a tool that is used to take that lid and just move it ever so slightly so it's in and gives it a little bit more of a grab. So I might use that. Let's have a look at that tool for a second. So here it is. I'm just kidding. This is not the tool. This is the tool. So this tool, you take the case and you go on the back of the case. I won't do it right now, but you go in the back of the case like this, and then you grab this, and that will warp the case ever so slightly to bring it in more, right? So that's going to bring that in just a bit. So that is the tool. Quite the tool. I may or may not use that. I don't know. I'll have to see, because it does close. It just doesn't close as securely as I like to. But if there's a small spring in the back here, I gotta remove this gentleman's. He stuck his name and email and everything in the back of this watch. So I'm just going to see if I can remove that for a second. There we go. If you look right in the back here, right there, you see that little tab? That's in fact the spring. So if you look at that, that's the action there. So if I loosen that up a bit by oiling it, of course, not by doing it physically, then this will likely grab the inside of the case a bit better. Now sometimes the inside of the case is worn out from opening and closing. I'll have a look at that as well to make sure that's not an issue. Doesn't look like it should be an issue, but it might be an issue. So that's where this tool comes in play, where you're basically putting that in here like that, and you're bending it a bit, but I really don't want to do that. So yeah, looks like someone already did it. There's like a mark right here, so there might have been some action on the lid from a previous watchmaker. So if you look inside the watch, in the back here, I'm looking for indications of previous watchmakers. And do I see anything? All right, there's nothing here, because they normally would put it in the back lid. So I'll press the button and close it. That wasn't too bad, actually. And then in here, you would have the watchmaker's catalog number in here for the repair or the servicing. And this is a beautiful case, by the way. Just love this case. And there's nothing here. And the case itself is, let me have a look here. It's a Keystone watch case. I'm not sure, this could be all gold, because it doesn't say gold filled. That's interesting. So this could be a gold case here, which is really nice. Somebody out there in the watch world who watches my video, let me know what you think this case is. So there's no marks there. So if I open the lid here, no, it's gold filled. This says 20 years. So that guarantee of 20 years, J-Boss, it guarantees that it's not a plating, it's a press of two plates of gold on either side, but it's not a plating. So they call it gold filled. So that guarantees that the case will not wear through in 20 years. If it wears through, then you might see a different metal through the case as it wears through. So as the gold wears out. So, and it makes it, that's important that you don't actually use an abrasive chemical if you decide to shine the watch up. Actually, they look better in a vintage condition. I think when I was younger doing watch work, I used to use Peak, P-E-A-K, that you can buy in your local hardware store. It works really well. and I did it on some of my watches, and it does shine them up incredibly. But you really have to watch the amount of peak you use, because you're actually removing some of the gold as you polish it. So that's not too bad there. I won't close this all the way because I'll have to open it later, but that's it. So that's it. So we're going to take this apart and clean it. I see a little mark here right there on the glass. You look in closer. Yeah, that might just be gum or something. I think it is. So I'll get rid of that. Very, very interesting. Yeah, the latch, even the latch looks high end. If you look at that latch, you see that latch, how thick it is? I don't know if I've ever seen a latch that thick. And you push in like this, and it moves the latch back and forth. Yeah, so maybe it's just being careful to close it. So we'll put this at, right now the time is 10:48. So I'm going to pull the lever out with my thumb. I cut my thumbnail the other day, which is probably a bad move. I love having a longer one. So 10:48. So there's 10:45, and if I push in more, it doesn't slip as much. 10:48 and 10:48 and some noise. I'll come back later on and see how well that's doing. So let's put that in here like this so it can stay all comfy. And I'll just close the lid just a bit. Well, I can't actually, but I'll just put this on top like that, and then I'll rubber band it because I don't want all the dust or anything else to get on this. So contain it. There we go. That's it. So again, I'm JD, watchmaker galore. I do this as a hobby because to make money in watchmaking, you have to start off with $1 million, and when you're finished, you end up with about 20 bucks. And that's the joke. If you haven't heard it, how do you become a millionaire fixing watches? You start as a billionaire. I love that joke. I think my wife told it to me. So that's it for today so far. So thanks a lot. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really supports me. And I do make a little bit of money from the YouTube channel, which helps for buying tools and stuff like that. So there you go. And have a great day, and I'll see you later when we take this baby apart.